Hey, what's up, everyone? Martin here. It is August 2nd, 2022. It's approximately 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Iceland, and there have been quite a lot of activity again. This time, it looks like most of the earthquakes and shocks and tremors have been concentrated in the northeastern part of the Reykjanes Peninsula, so around the Fagradalsfjall or north of Fagradalsfjall, around the Keilir, maybe a little bit more towards Krýsuvík, so that's a little bit more east towards the peninsula. And as you can see in the map there, in the graph, most of the green stars, which are magnitudes higher than 3, are mostly developing and concentrated in that area, and as well as tremors, most recent tremors in the last 0 to 12 hours, and mostly 0 to 4 hours. So anything like from 0 to 4 hours, now we're getting to see it. We're seeing it more in the more northern eastern section of the peninsula, closer to Keilir. So that's very interesting. It's like the movement, the intrusion, the potential intrusion, the potential shift of what's going on seems to slowly now start going towards the northeast, whereas before Sunday it was mostly in the Grandavik area, which was at the bottom south coast, more towards the southwest Grandavik, which created lots of problems for the city. And then it was between Grandavik and Fagradalsfjall, and now it's between Fagradalsfjall and Keilir. So very interesting to understand these movements of what's happening every single day now since the initial start of all this. So I wanted to check some of the most recent earthquakes and how big, as far as the magnitude. And I usually just check 3 or more, anything from 3 and above. So if we go to the table here. Also, in the last 24 hours, so we just get a count. In the last 24 hours, there have been a total of close to 3,000 again earthquakes. And I believe since the beginning, way back, since the start of all this, we're probably around 10,000, close to 10,000 earthquakes. So let's take this chart that has tons and tons and tons of earthquake information, and I'm gonna put it in my sheet here, and just kind of like just isolate anything that's 3 magnitude and above. So there was a really big one, magnitude of 5, which is at the top here in the Krýsuvík area. So like I said, a lot of the shocks are now being concentrated in that area in Krýsuvík. And they recently just had this 5 magnitude. So anything right now that we're looking at for as far as the 3 and above are for Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. And this was at 2:27 in the morning with a depth of 3.9 kilometers, quality of 99, and it was 4.6 kilometers northeast of Krýsuvík. The second one, which is 4.5, was at 2:27 in the morning. It was a depth of 3.5 kilometers, and it was 3.1 kilometers northeast of Krýsuvík. The other one, the third one, was 4.2 magnitude. This was actually a little bit earlier. It was at 17 minutes into the morning. And that was 4.0 kilometers northeast of Krýsuvík. Then they had two 3.7s right over here. One was at 38 minutes, and then the other one was at 1 hour at 1:10 in the morning. So 38 minutes in the morning, and then 1:10 in the morning. 3.7s. One was at 6.6 kilometers in depth, and the other one was 3.7 kilometers in depth. Both between 5.7 to 6.4 kilometers northeast of Krýsuvík. So the first 5 top magnitude earthquakes roll kind of in the area of Krýsuvík. And then when we get into the 3s, we're looking at anything from Keilir to Fagradalsfjall and then back to Krýsuvík. So the movement is looking towards the kind of like northeast of the peninsula, and that's where things are, are happening right now. So let's check out some articles to see as far as what they're saying. And this article here is very interesting. So there's a satellite image that was produced, and it titles "A Magma Intrusion is Clearly Visible in a New Satellite Image." So very interesting image, indicating some sort of intrusion in the Fagradalsfjall, Keilir, Krýsuvík region area where everything is kind of like happening now. But as you could see, the ripples is the kind of like signal of a possible intrusion about to happen, and it's in this area here where you could see this kind of like layers of kind of like if you throw something into water, you get the ripple effect. That's what kind of you're seeing. And here is Reinstein Sigmundsen, a geophysicist. Traces of the big earthquakes are clearly visible. So based on that satellite image, magma movements are clearly visible in a satellite image and are now northeast of last year's eruption centers areas between Fagradalsfjall and Keilir. Bjornsson says the image shows that by far the largest deformation of the Reykjanes Peninsula over the weekend is caused by this magmatic intrusion. We see that there is about 16 centimeters of displacement. It is primarily the magma intrusion that creates this signal, but there are also other signals, says Bjornsson. So this tried to translate this article into English, so bear with. He says that there are clearly visible traces of the big earthquakes on Sunday, taking into account the meeting they will conduct with the Scientific Council today. It is possible to assess the inflow rate of magma, and it is important to monitor how it develops. So I don't know if this is a clear indication of some kind of magma intrusion that might occur in the coming days, maybe weeks. There are locals that are saying that they would prefer if the magma finally makes its way out so it can release some of the pressure. because of all these intense earthquakes. The thing is, like, we don't know yet where. It's kind of signaling like around the northeast areas, maybe around Keilir. But yeah, it's creating a lot of problems for some of the cities, especially Grandavik. And there's just a lot of pressure. So we need to see how this develops. More information is coming through. And very interesting to see how this whole movement is happening, and how now we are looking at more of the northeastern part of the peninsula getting more of the activity. So take care, have a great day, and see you in the next video.